There we go, right. Right, let's see. Now, I'm probably not counting on there being very many people here to watch this live stream, as it is currently 20 to 10 in the morning. Nevertheless, I was going to do a video on the PT-76, and I thought, fuck it, rather than, I was going to do live gameplay, and I changed my mind about that and decided I'm going to do a stream instead. Now, from what I understand, this should get saved to YouTube once the stream's ended, or at least I'll have the opportunity to upload it to YouTube once the stream's ended. So I probably won't play it for very long, maybe half an hour, something like that, just so it's long enough for you guys to get to know me. Good morning. Welcome to the party. Yeah, I thought, screw it, I'll give it a go, see how we get on. I know there's not going to be very many people watching this, because most of you are going to be at school or at work or what have you, but yeah. Anyway, those of you who are watching this after the stream, I'm sorry I couldn't do it later, but it just works out a little bit easier for me to do it now. That's about it, really. Just thought we'd give it a go, see how we get on, get some footage in the PT-76. So how are you this morning, Asif? You alright? Right, what map have we got? Ugh, Japan. Right, okay. You can hear me, right? Waking up late's not such a bad thing, you need a lie-in occasionally. It's not raining here at the moment, no, unfortunately. Does look pretty grim outside, though. Right, well, we're only going to take heat, because let's face it, we're not going to need much else. Heat at 5.3, that's just disturbing. Don't be at all surprised if I do royally shit in the first few matches, by the way. And I'm having to play on this like smaller screen as well, because I have the chat in the right hand side of the TV, so it takes up like a third of my screen. Don't get me wrong, I'm all fine with that, but it just makes it a bit fucking awkward. But we'll see. I think we'll go to C, we'll go around C rather than going straight through it, because that's just a disaster waiting to happen. I actually haven't played this thing in a while. I think last time I played this was probably... I did a video on it, what, maybe 6 months ago? I think that was the last time I played the PT-76. That was on the Eastern Europe map, actually, if I remember rightly. Drove all the way up the river, come out the other side, got behind them. Worked rather well. Although I think that was more down to luck than my own judgment. Or skill. Ah, right, that's okay then. It should be broadcasting in... Unfortunately, I can't broadcast in 1080, but it's broadcasting in 720 at 60 FPS, so it should be. Which means I can't record the gameplay at the same time, but that's fine, because like I said at the beginning, it should allow me to post this stream to my YouTube channel once I'm done. So, I don't really need to record it if that's the case, but we'll see. Certainly seems alright on my end, but obviously I'm not watching it being broadcast, am I? Technically. How's the microphone quality, by the way? Because this is the same microphone I use for recording my videos, and sometimes I notice it's a bit distorted, other times it's fine. It just depends how far away the microphone happens to be from my face and how loudly I'm talking. Yeah, Return to Battlefield, shut up. Now, there are probably going to be some tanks in this woodland to my left, or my right somewhere. Probably. Ah, right, okay. No, it's not raining, I don't know what that might be. It might be on my end, but... Oh shit. See, that's what I get for not concentrating. What have we here? Oh shit, Hellcat, that's bad. Go away! Oh, crap. Right, okay. Oh. Alright, fine. Good morning, Riley. Good morning. Good boy. Lie down then. Hey, we have another watcher. Well, what do you know? It's blown up. As far as the job goes, I have sent off my form, which I mentioned it in my video yesterday, to be honest. The Leopard 2A4 video ended up being 5 minutes of a channel update video, and then the last 4 minutes was for the Leopard, which I suppose was a bit shitty on my part, but I wanted to catch everybody up on what was going on, as I'd been away for a week and couldn't really be bothered to make it into a separate video. So I did mention it then, but for the sake of anybody who didn't hear it, basically I had to fill in a form and send it off and provide another reference, which I've done. The form was sent off on the 4th of July, and I've got to wait for it to come to me in the post. Once it comes back to me in the post, I can email the person I'm going through all this with, and they can basically start setting it up so that they can give me a start date. But I have a funny feeling that I was told that you don't tend to start a new job in the middle of a week, so as far as I can tell, chances are I probably won't start till next week, if not the week after, if it takes longer to get here. Oh, bollocks. Mercy. That's what I was told anyway, but to be honest, I'm kind of stuck in this position where I want to start and get the starting over with and get that stress out of the way, but on the other hand, I kind of want to enjoy what's left of my opportunities to do this channel and do things I want to do in my free time while I still have a lot of it. But because of course once I start, I'll be working 5 days a week, and I might even be working Saturdays. I don't know yet. I don't even know what my hours are yet, to be honest, which is kind of scary when you think about it, but we shall see. Right. I think I'll try going between C and B this time, see how that goes. Well, yeah, this is it. In a way, I was kind of annoyed, as stupid as it sounds, because when I got the interview and everything, the channel was actually just starting to sort of climb in subscribers on a regular basis, and I know like 370 subscribers is not a lot, and don't get me wrong, I appreciate everybody who subscribed to my channel, and I thank you all to the moon and back for it. But in the grand scheme of things, and as far as what you'd consider big YouTube channels go, 370 is not a lot. But to me, it still does mean the world, really. And when I got my job application, and when I got my job, when I, succeeded with the interview and stuff, it did dawn on me quite quickly that if this job does go well, and I do, because I don't even know if I'm going to enjoy it yet, to be honest. But when I realised, I got the job, I knew it was going to bite quite heavily into the content on my channel. But it is what it is, unfortunately. That's assuming I could even talk to her. I might walk over, and as soon as I say good morning, no, not interested, go away. That'll be the end of that. Got absolutely no time for that shit. Costs far too much money and causes far too much heartache. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt.
Allied forces have captured a zone. Attention to the map!
Morning, Earl. How goes it? Quite strange, actually. It says there's only one person watching, yet there's clearly two, because you just commented. Oh no, there we go. It's just updated itself. Good old War Thunder streaming. Well, PS4 War Thunder streaming. Oof. Yeah, I know this isn't particularly flashy or anything like that, but hey, I gotta work with what I got, unfortunately. Ooh, hello, what have we here? What do you suppose the range on that is? 500, Wouldn't be so sure about that somehow. Oh, are you serious? You can't scout him through a tree? Ooh, bit of lag there. I think that was the game there.
Attention to the designated grid square.
Where's he gone? Yeah, see, this is a dangerous game I'm playing. All the time I'm looking at him, I'm not paying attention elsewhere. Let's just try and take a shot, see how we do. Assuming I don't get spotted. Yeah, I am sat right out in the open here. 600. Nope, that went over. Try 800 on that Sherman. I think that's a Sherman, isn't it? Yeah. Low. Target undamaged. Right, okay. Bit delayed, but high. So I was ranged at 800. Let's do. Wait, hang on. Oh, he got took out, for Christ's sake. Run. Shit. Yeah, this isn't working. I'm being far too aggressive. And apparently that was enough to earn me a backup. Alright. Ah, two more people seem to have joined us while I was distracted. Morning. How goes it? And just as I say that, one leaves. I can't help myself, can I? I've got to jinx it.
A little more effort and victory will be ours. Enemy forces have captured a zone. Allied forces have captured a zone.
Do 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 do. How is the SMK? It's in the War 1 shop and I'm considering grinding the Soviet tree with it. The early tiers, that is. You don't have any early Soviet tier tanks? At all? I mean, I gotta be honest, I couldn't comment on the SMK, but from what I've seen of it, it's... I don't know, I think it relies on the amount of crew it has for its survivability, kind of like how the M103 used to. Whether the M103 still does, I'm not sure, I haven't played it in a while. Although the M103 always used to do quite well with it, so... right, okay. If it's in the war bond shop, I would say you're not really going to lose anything if you can get it with war bonds rather than, you know, actually buying it. But I don't think it's on sale anymore, so that's the only option you're really going to have. If you want to give it a go, then by all means, I would definitely advise you getting it through the war bond shop rather than actually, you know, hypothetically speaking, if it was still on sale, I would say if it's in the war bond shop, get it that way, because you're not actually spending any real money on it then. So if it does turn out to be a pile of crap, then... I have played the ASU-57, and good morning Lorne, by the way, welcome. I have played the ASU-57, as a matter of fact I was actually watching Slickbee's video that he did on it a few days ago, this morning when I woke up, and was considering doing a video on it today. Yeah, the PT-76 I haven't done a video on in a while, so I figured we'd live stream it. It's alright though, I mean it can get taken out by basically any gun in the game, but the ASU-57 that is. Although when you consider that it was supposed to be Detroit? Jesus. Note to self, Red, don't live stream at 10 o'clock in the morning, you're not awake enough. Considering it was supposed to be deployed with Soviet VDV units, which are paratroopers, it needed to be light, so that meant barely any armor, and effectively it wasn't used as a tank destroyer so much as it was used as an assault gun. Sort of like a mobile field cannon for the paratrooper infantry as they were advancing. Tactically speaking, kind of used like a very, very big machine gun. Although it was a cannon, obviously. Can't see anything. Right, I need to get a kill. This is making me look bad. Let's see. 1200. Nope, that was over it. And now he's dead. Great. What do you mean, will it actually work? I haven't checked the Discord in a couple of days, so I'll have to... Well, that's a lie, I have, but I haven't actually read through the messages like I probably should have done. When you say, will it actually work, do you mean if it's playable? A solly? What is the message cut off, or what's solly? I'm confused. I'm confused and worried. Mildly aroused and moist. Ugh, I'm not going to comment on that. You, whatever tickles your pickle or floats your goat, or whatever you want to call it. Right, fuck it, we're going for B. A, rather. Although, all jokes aside, I have actually been told by one of my friends, who is also a fellow subscriber to my channel. Hello Mark, if you're listening. Yes. Hello Mark. he does reenactment with me. I mean, I say reenactment, I've only done one event so far, but that's more due to the lack of transport and shit rather than unwillingness. But he's told me on numerous occasions that I need to get a tanker's uniform because they need somebody to stand around at an event and talk to the public about armour and shit, which Mark is perfectly capable of doing himself. He's a very knowledgeable man, but morning, Bravo. Why the long face? Alright, okay. Well, morning. So come on, Asif, what is Solly? Did the message thing just like screw you over or what? Because I genuinely have no idea what Solly is. Oh shit. Where'd that come from? Well, gotta say, so far I've been doing pretty bloody awful. Right, just give me a minute, guys, and then we'll jump into the next match. Now that would be pretty freaking cool. I think they do need to... Well, I wouldn't say they need to. It would be nice if Gaijin were able to put some more interesting game modes into War Thunder, but unfortunately, I mean, let's just have a look at how many players are online now. There are 30,000 people online at the moment, and I know it's not a peak time, like most people are at work at this point, but even so, you know, 31,000 people on at 10 o'clock in the morning, it is pretty, I think it may be pretty poor, but that's also down to my shooting as well. I haven't used it in a while, so... Let's have a look what's in Sim, actually, while we're sat here. T-34-100, T-54-1949, IS-3, IS-6. That's for the Russians. What's everybody else got? Ooh, the Panther 2 in Sim. Yak Tiger, Centurion Mark 10. I don't like Centurions. The gun sight's all kind of fucked up. Nothing great. Oh, really low tier. I take it none of you are that interested in this Sim, right? I mean, we'd be waiting 10 minutes to get into a match anyway, I imagine, but... And I can't fly because my controls aren't set up for it for Sim, but... PT-76 is in Sim though. Don't know how well it would actually do in sim. I don't think I've ever played it in sim. T44-100's not bad. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? What, just the normal T44 or the 100? Don't even know if I've got it on a lineup actually. Let's have a look. No, don't want that, go away. Right, okay, 100, let's see. Might have to just stick it in a lineup. Yeah, right, okay, so get the top one. Army, not aviation. T44-100. Don't need my Type 65 anyway. Might take a minute to get into a match, depends how many people are playing. Let's have a look. Actually no, it might not be that bad, it's pretty even. Wait, do I even have fire extinguishers on this thing? Now that I think about it. Suppose I better check. Oh yeah, I do. I played this quite a lot. That's alright. 'Tis not so bad. Anybody played the Object 268 yet, by the way? I think I've just finished researching it. I put it on as like a... Finished researching the T62M and just started researching this, and I think I've unlocked... Yeah, I have unlocked it. Can't afford to buy it yet, though. Actually, I don't think I've even fought against it very much. The armour doesn't look too bad. 187 on the upper casement, 120 on the hull. I mean, it's basically a T10 hull, isn't it? As far as I know. That's another thing I need to buy. I finished researching the T10 and I haven't bloody bought it yet. Waiting. Hey, there we go. Right. Not a terrible map. Not a great map either, but it'll do. Do we take the BR412D? 235 millipen at 100, 212, 65 grams of explosive in that one. How much have we got in this one? 61, but it pens better. Yeah, we'll take that. Get that off. Not going to be needing 20 rounds. I don't imagine we'll survive long enough to empty our fucking ammo rack, but we'll see. Where's the gun sight on this thing? Right next to the barrel. Alright, that's fine.
Move after me.
Yeah, I was just gonna... You beat me to it, or I was just gonna ask what Che is. Or Chai. It's Chai, isn't it, I think? Oh, it's a pretty full match as well. That makes a change for Sim. Man, one of my basic hopes for this game is that someday we actually get enough players back to put Sim back into the normal matchmaking, so you don't have to sit around with this event crap, but I'm not hopeful, I'll be honest. No, that's... Ooh, I don't know, actually. Let's see, compensate, slightly right of the barrel. No, that went low. So it's tea, then. Oh, chai tea. Now I say it like that, I seem to think about what that is, actually. I don't think we have that in the UK, as far as I know. I just prefer coffee anyway, really. If anybody else joins, drop us a line in the chat, let us know you're here so I can say good morning. Yeah, I'm crap, I know. Obviously, if you had said chai tea, I would have had some sort of idea what the hell you were on about, but all you said was chai. Like, that doesn't mean anything to me, unfortunately. Just chai on its... The word just chai on its own doesn't mean anything to me. If you'd said chai tea... Although I suppose I can't blame anybody but myself for being a Philistine and not knowing what chai tea is. Oh no, you can't. You cannot have tea or coffee without milk in it. What is wrong with you? No, just no. Filter coffee is definitely better as well. I don't imagine their quality would be much worse than normal iPhone, would it? And I'm not saying that as an Android owner, because I don't own an Android. I own an iPhone. I have had an Android in the past and I hated it, it was horrible. Although that was a HTC, like an older one, so that might have been why. Although I did like being able to just download music straight from a YouTube link, that was nice. Can't do that no more.
Attention to the map.
Probably being overly ballsy here, but on the plus side, I know for certain if I fuck up big time I've got another spawn guaranteed, so Kind of takes some of the pressure off. But it would be nice if this match went a little bit better than the PT76 games, because let's be fair, they were terrible. Nobody to blame but myself. It's eerily quiet, I don't like it.
Attention to the map.
There's T54 there, moving into the cap. Let's go into the town, see if we can spot anything in there. I think large maps are definitely better for sim. I'm not against the idea of there being larger maps for higher tiers for RB. That's perfectly fine. I know a lot of people don't like it for medium and low tier, which is, you know, that's perfectly fine as well. Most of the low tier vehicles are actually faster, really. The BT5 and the BT7 spring to mind, but among the other light tanks like the Bulldog, the M22, M24 Chaffee, you know, all of these tanks are light, fast, wouldn't really bother them too much on larger maps, but I have nothing against larger maps. I think it helps spread the team out, but then that's kind of a problem in sim when you consider that you've got, I mean, how many have we got in this match? We've got 2 more players than them. Hang on, let me stop a minute so I don't get shot at crossing this road. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Let's say like 12 people per team when there's normally, what, 20 odd, if not more. Making the maps bigger and more spread out just spreads the teams out a little bit more. I suppose it makes engagements a little bit more slow. Well, it slows the engagements down a bit. In theory, that could lead to a more accurate representation of tank combat, but although at the same time, we don't really play sim for the fast-paced gameplay, do we? So much. If you think the M24 Chaffee's bad, try playing some of the French stuff with the oscillating turrets. Ugh. Like 15 degrees of elevation, something like that on some of them. I mean, the gun depression on them is fantastic, so that's the upside of it, but... And then considering most of them don't have turret-mounted machine guns like on the Cupola, like I have on my T44 here, it's kind of well, you can't engage aircraft, really. Although, if I'm honest, I don't tend to engage aircraft very much in my tanks anyway. Right, now the question is there somebody sat in the cap waiting to draw us in which case I'm taking the bait quite badly here. Yeah, no, shoot down a plane with a KV-2 or a Sturmpanzer 2. Yeah, no, you're alright. I think I'll leave that to the pros, thank you. Or people with much better luck than myself. Right, well they're not in the cap because they're not capturing it. Oh shit, hello. Auf Wiedersehen. Danke fürs Spielen. Oh my god. Gotta love the War Thunder community, haven't you?
Attention to the designated grid square.
Yeah, I can very much imagine somebody bullying the French players just because they haven't got machine guns on their tanks in a night battle. That does not surprise me at all. What is that?
Follow me.
Goodbye. Quite surprised he didn't see me, actually. Wasn't as if I was hiding. Oh shit, aircraft. If you have a stealthy tank, you're fine. If you have good situational awareness, you're fine. If you don't have those two things, you're kind of in a mess in a night battle, in my opinion, but... Repair a tank. What did that plane hit then? Can't have been anything serious. Oh yeah, that would be pretty cool. I know they actually... I can remember watching one of Tiger Frost's dev Q&A videos. And the idea of more, like... Not so much life improvement changes, but little added details here and there. Like the shell ejecting out of the back of the turret on the T-62s was something that they mentioned they could possibly do. I'm still waiting for them to add-on armor, like proper add-on armor. I mean, we can add the fish gill side plates on the T-62M and like cage armor on the M46 pattern and all this stuff, but there was a time when they were saying about being able to add sandbags to the front of Shermans and things like that, you know? That is what I would love to see. But then they'd have to basically swallow their pride and allow people to actually do it in the customization part of the menu rather than doing it through the modifications, which means they wouldn't earn so many eagles because people wouldn't be free XPing their way to it, which is kind of a shame for us. Not a shame for Gaijin, they don't need the money really, but... Oh, where'd that come from? Ah, sneaky bastard. That's fine, I know where he is.
Attention to the designated grid zone!
Go back and make sure this Panther 2 doesn't take B again. Seem to be pretty tight on players at the moment, more or less. Oh, and there's a mouse in this game. Shit. I can't do anything to him. Not from the front, anyway. Might be able to penetrate his turret, but... Yeah, it would be, so long as it isn't, like, bugged or glitched or anything, it'd be pretty cool. But then it's little things like that I quite like them adding, is the little details, like that water tanks and other tank games don't have. Unless you play a simulator, but that's a different kettle of fish altogether. It's like War Thunder's selling point, going back to Sim again. War Thunder's selling point used to be Sim mode. It was an entry level. It is an entry level Sim mode, I'll give it that. But it's still difficult enough that you feel accomplished for becoming good at it. Like, you have to compensate for where the gun sight is in, you know, in relation to the gun barrel itself. You have to compensate for elevation, you have to compensate for drop, you have to compensate for all these different things. And people that are genuinely interested by this sort of sim stuff actually use manual gears and all sorts of things. I mean, I don't do that because I haven't got enough buttons, but you know, it was an entry-level mode that anybody could try, but it actually required a decent amount of skill to become good at. And unfortunately, due to the player drop and the fact that it got moved from being in the main matchmaking to being an event, you know, I don't think Sim is War Thunder's selling point anymore, so they need something to fill the gap to make War Thunder stand out a little bit more. Yeah, you can do one-shot kills and you have the cool kill cam where you can see the shell detonating, and yeah, I know I only need 2, but it's, you know, I've got, if I survive this, then Yeah, I'm not on a keyboard. I'm using a controller. Listen, that's the joysticks. I'm using a controller. I always play with a controller. I did at one stage think about getting a mouse and keyboard just for the sake of air, but yep, I both record and edit my videos on my PS4. Oh shit, where'd that come from? Well, if you didn't notice, I'd say that means I'm doing something right, personally. Well, that didn't go so bad. I actually got some kills and a cap, so I'm quite happy with that, to be honest. Should we do sim again, if you don't mind sitting in the queue, or what? Yeah, sim is definitely skill-based to an extent, but I think, you know, some people can get on quite well just sitting at the map and sniping. If you can snipe in RB from long range and you can learn to compensate for where the gun sight is in relation to the barrel, then sim will treat you well. It's learning your spatial and general awareness for sim that really, I mean, the amount of times I've been sat down a road, not in any way like covered up, I didn't have bushes or anything on my tank, I was just sat there, and the amount of people that just drive straight past is alright then. Do I dare? I might lose my sanity, but we'll give this a go. Matchmaking's quick at least. Same map, near enough. Right, north spawn or south spawn? I think... Well, I don't know, there's some good ridge lines at B, isn't there? But you get shot at from their spawn, so let's go north. Jesus, I hate this fucking thing. How about that Razer controller that has all the buttons for the PS4? I wouldn't want to say for certain, but it's the same with keyboards and mice and stuff as well. The problem is that the PS4 doesn't always work with PC stuff. Even if there's still a USB connector like there is for the PS4's charging cables and stuff, they don't always have the right software to be compatible, from what I've been told. So, and I've got a funny feeling that anything made by Razer probably wouldn't work. Like, you can buy a cheap keyboard for like 10 quid that you can just plug into the front of the PS4 and that'll work fine. That's what when I was in the Desert Rats, there was quite a few guys that if they used to fly, they had a keyboard and mouse rather than using a controller, because it, you know, made them more competitive. And they tended to use keyboard and mouse for that, and that was just like cheap ones. But to be honest, I've never actually thought too much about it, because I didn't want to go out and spend 30-40 quid on a mouse and keyboard only to find out that they don't work. But
Thank you very much.
I'm sure there's probably a list online somewhere of compatible ones, but I haven't ever looked into it much, to be honest. I mean, I mainly only do tanks anyway, so I'm kind of used to, you know, I've been playing like this for 4 years at this point. I've gotten used to where all my buttons and everything are and where it's all set up. So if I was to go to a mouse and keyboard now, it probably fucked me over big time. To begin with, at least. I mean, I'd get used to... Holy fucking shit, where'd that come from? Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm speechless. What? Jesus Christ. Right, we'll give it one more go, because this is going to cost me a shitload of money if I don't do well. Yeah, my younger brother does play on the PS4. He's never been a huge fan of War Thunder, though, unfortunately. Ironically enough, his favourite tank is, well, I say ironically, his favourite tank's actually the Walker Bulldog. He bought a model kit of it years ago and has yet to finish it, so much that I had to do the suspension on it for him because he wasn't capable. But he plays Fortnite, obviously. Fortnite, Rainbow Six Siege, what was the other one? He was playing Call of Duty World War II a lot, but he sort of went off that pretty quick. Top tier is... I mean, the thing is, I'll put it to you this way. If I woke up tomorrow morning and for whatever reason my PS4 shit itself and deleted all of my save data for all my games, which meant if I was to reinstall War Thunder I'd have to start from the beginning again, I'm afraid this would no longer be a War Thunder channel, because I frankly could not. When I started playing this game was, for those of you who are familiar with how the years work in school in the UK. Oh, is it? I don't know, I might have to give it a look then, at some stage. How much is it, roughly? But yeah, going back to what I was saying. I've lost my train of thought now. Shit. This is what I get, you see. Trying to multitask, it doesn't work. It is worth the grind when you get there, but if I had to start over again, I don't think I could do it again, I gotta be honest. And I certainly wouldn't want to buy my way to top tier. No way. Some people do, and in my opinion those people are nuts. I definitely couldn't afford to do that. I mean, I hesitate to think about how much money I've put into this game in the past. Not in buying for modifications and things like that, but premium tanks. Like, the first premium tank I ever bought was the M26E1, the Pershing. And yeah, I wouldn't want to do it. I wouldn't want to go through it all again. I love top tier, don't get me wrong, but as a matter of fact I almost love top tier too much, because if I have to go down a few tiers to earn some lions, I actually get bored pretty easily, which is a shame. There are some really fun tanks at mid and low tier though, but yeah, I think most people would agree with you, to be honest. The only people who would have it in their best interest to do it again would be like the big content creators, Fly Daily, Slick B, all that lot. Because they actually make a living off of doing this, so for them it'd be very much worth their time to invest in it heavily, should they lose it all. Right, gun depression's not good enough, we're going to have to go a little bit over to the right here in this defilade. Somebody actually had the nerve in one of Slick B's comments the other day to argue with me about whether the Challenger was a good tank or not. It's not. It's really not. It's a pile of crap. Oh, it's good if it's in the right situation. Yeah, but it's too slow to get to those situations in time because everything else that you're fighting is faster. Yeah, it's faster than the Chieftains. It's a lot faster, but that doesn't mean it's fast in comparison to what it fights against. Takes you ages to get where you need to be. By the time you get there, there's already a leopard or something sat where you want to be. It kills you, you jump back to the hangar, rinse and repeat, and you end up pissing away credits like there's no tomorrow. I do like the reverse speed of it though. The armour is also crap. I've had heat rounds just go straight through the front of my turret, even though in real life the turret should be more than capable of dealing with those sort of rounds. It's not fitted with its armor package that it would have had in combat. It's a mess really. And apparently Gaijin are fairly certain they're not going to add the Mark III version, which would have had more armor on it, but what is the Vickers MBT Mark 7 then? I don't know which version we actually have in the game at the moment. To be honest, I'd never heard of it beforehand. Yeah, like I said, James, it is mobile, but it's not mobile. It's mobile than when compared to its predecessors, the Chieftains, but when you compare it to everything else that it fights against, it's not good enough. Which is no fault of its own, it's just the playstyle that it demands is not very feasible when you're fighting tanks that are a lot faster and lighter than you are. Faster and more mobile, I should say. Ah, right, okay. Yeah, it would only be effective against heat, but it's definitely something. I mean, the T-64BV's armor, ERA armor package doesn't really work like it should, to be honest. Well, it does, but it's not as reliable as you'd hope it would be. You know, you spend all that time grinding for the modification only to find out all you've done is made your tank slower and less mobile. Kind of a kick in the groin. Ooh, I quite like the sound of that actually, although I guarantee they... Let me just read it out because I don't know if people watching this afterwards will be able to see the chat. Vickers MVT Mark 7 is a Leopard 2 hull with a British design turret that can hold a lot of different guns like the L11 Rheinmetall 120mm. I quite like the sound of that, but I guarantee that would be a premium. Or, worse, it'd be a reward tank. That would really annoy me. 1500 horsepower engine is the Leo 2. So basically a KPZ engine then. Near enough. I'll tell you one tank that you guys should definitely look up if you haven't ever heard of it, is the, I can't remember the name of it, but it's the main armoured... I hesitate to call it a tank, because frankly it isn't a tank, but it's the main armoured vehicle of that Argentina use. Oh, there shouldn't be, but there's a 105mm gun on the XM1, so we'll see. Give it time. Yeah, the Argentinians have what is basically a Leo A1, A5 turret mounted on a Bugalight Panzer hull. That is their tank. That would be a pretty cool premium. I'd buy that. I don't know what happened there. It's not. I'm pretty certain it's a Bugalight Panzer hull. Basically, if you look, it's. I don't know if it's actually a Bugalight. English. I don't know if it's actually a Bugalight Panzer hull, but it is. It looks very, very similar. And it's not. I thought it was an APC when I first saw it, but it's not. It's actually supposed to be a quote-unquote tank. Yep, Object 120 has 152mm, if I remember correctly. Well, I did shit, but I didn't die, so don't have to pay the repair costs at least. Actually, let me just, while the game's ended and we're going back to the hole, let me just Google this on my phone a minute, because I can't remember what the name of it is. Argentinian tank. Ah, here we go. If I could post, I wish I could post this picture somehow, but I can't. That's shit. Alright, so I've got the Wikipedia up. It's called a TAM, which is... Right, my Spanish is dreadful, so Tanque Argentino Mediano. So basically Argentinian medium tank. Main battle tank in service with the Argentine army. Lacking the experience and resources to design a tank, the Argentine Ministry of Defense contracted Germany company Thyssen-Henschel. The vehicle was developed by a German and Argentine team of engineers and was based on the German Marder infantry fighting vehicle, which in and of itself is the whole of the Marder is basically a Begleitpanzer hull. It started in service in 1983 and is still in service to this day. 280 of them have been built. It weighs 30 tons, 6.75 meters long or 22 feet and 2 inches, 3.25 meters wide or 10 feet and 8 inches, and 2.42 meters high or 7 foot 4 inches. Crew of 4. The Leo's, well, it's an Argentine made 105mm gun, like what the Leo A1 would have had. Two 7.62mm machine guns, 6-cylinder 22.4 litre turbo diesel engine, 24 horsepower per ton, torsion bar suspension, max speed of 75 kilometers an hour. It's a pretty cool looking tank, but it won't have any armour, and if it was added to the game it would basically be hull broken by everything. If you guys want to like quickly Google the TAM Argentine tank and look at what it looks like, then you'll see what I mean. If I had a way of showing a picture up during the stream I would, but unfortunately I don't, so. What's the Object 477 then? I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Allied forces have captured a zone. Captured a zone.
Yeah, that sounds pretty freaking awesome.
The enemy controls most of the security zones. The commander's been knocked out.
Oh, splendid. Come on, rotate. There we go. Shit. Yeah, I can't move. I'm tracked. I'm stuck here. That bounced, I think. That's quite amazing. So did that. Yeah, that's fine, dude. Just keep taking my ammunition. I don't mind. I can't even roll back, man. For God's sake. Challenger squad, huh? Yeah, fuck it. Right, Woofy, if you want to make a squad up, well, I just quickly roll a fag, and then we'll crack on. You can see my name up there on the screen anyway, so just send me a squad invite. When you say, what do you mean when you say low tier versus high tier? What, the TAM? Asif. Oh, I shouldn't worry about it. I shouldn't worry about it. Mine's basically stock as well. I mean, I got fire extinguisher and repair kit. That's about it, and the APF SDS. Couldn't bear to play it anymore. I did my yeah, it is pretty sexy, isn't it? But I don't know how effective it'd be in War Thunder, and I don't know how they dignify adding an Argentine tank. But never know. We shall see. Right now, Woofy, just so you know, I will not be able to reply once I actually enter the match, so I'm going to go right spawn, if that's alright with you. I'd rather not go in that open ground, that's just a nightmare. Nobody ever goes A. It's a killing field out there. No, I suppose not, but what tech tree would you put it in, though? It's a German designed tank in a South American country. I don't know what tech tree you'd fit it in. I suppose Germany could have it, but actually, what if Germany got as a top tier premium? They've got the West German M47, haven't they? Yeah, I suppose so. I imagine they could, if they implemented it as a light tank and gave it the scout mechanic, it wouldn't be too bad. But they might have to like nerf the reload so that it's not as stupidly overpowered as it would be if it was just like had a Leopard's reload then.
Enemy forces have captured a zone.
Well, the enemy went A. That's a great start. Six seconds, I think, off the top of my head. Depending on your crew level, obviously, because it's not an autoloader. Yep, it does suck. Why do you think I don't play it? I mean, I'm all for a challenge, but getting beaten over the head with this thing is just a bit too much.
The enemy's getting closer to victory.
Oh, play low tier against high tier. Suppose I could do. I know which tank I'd take as well. Pack wagon. Suppose this isn't a terrible position as long as I don't get flanked.
Attention to the map.
Yeah, it would be a mosh pit, but let's be fair, how many people do you think the game would attract if we had the Merkava?
Follow me.
Alright, I'll come with you, hold on. This thing actually accelerates faster in reverse than it does going forward. Shit, there's something to my 12 somewhere. Oh shit. T-64B. Oh, God's sake. I hate this tank. Where's Woofy? Where are you? There you are. There's a T-64B heading up that road that I just died on. Here he comes.
If we don't do something fast, the enemy will win.
Try and go for the lower plate shot if you can. Nice.
Reloading.
I'm playing a tank I hate at the moment because I'm probably not going to do another video on it for a while and figured it'd be amusing for you guys to watch me fail horrifically. To be quite honest.
Need backup.
Yeah, I think you might be on your own on that one, Woofy, I'm afraid. Everyone else seems to have just died. Yeah. We've got 2 people left. One of them's in a P-51, so... I would like to see an international tech tree though, that'd be pretty cool. How likely it is to happen, I've no idea, but... food for thought.
The enemy is winning. We must counterattack.
So, what tanks would you guys like to see in game at some point then? If there's anything in particular.
Reloading.
I haven't heard that. I'm not saying it's not true, but I haven't heard anything about it.
We need to put more pressure on the enemy. They're winning.
What's the Al-Khalid? Or Al-Khalid? Is it Al-Khalid? My Arabic isn't brilliant either. I think that's Arabic. If not, I may have just really offended somebody. I do apologise. The T-80 I think will be in the game eventually. Again, in one of Tiger Frost's old dev Q&A videos, they said that they were planning on going up to the T-80 for top tier. I'm still wondering where the T-72 is, because the problem is people seem to think it's a terrible tank, and the only reason the T-72 has such a shitty reputation is because the only time the West has ever fought T-72s in full-on combat was in the Iraq War against Saddam's Iraqi forces. The ones that Saddam was using, though the Russians did supply them with some T-72s, the Iraqis also started building them themselves. And I think they were called Lions of Babylon, I think. Anyway, the Iraqis started building them themselves, and they were honestly not made very well. They were just terrible. So, in my opinion, I think our own view of the T-72 has been kind of plagued by our experience in the First and Second Iraq War. Oh, the French wheeled anti-tank guns would be awesome. I'll tell you another one that we kind of need is the FV-101 Scorpion, or is it the 202? It's the 101, I think. No, the T-80 is quite good actually. I don't know what the armor was like, I can't really comment on that, but the T-80 was quite fast and pretty mobile as well. Yes, it does. But the, was it the T-80U? No, the T-80UD went back to a diesel engine. But all of the models before that, I think, used the gas turbine, like you said. Right, we might actually do reasonably well on this map, hopefully. Gas turbine engines were not fantastic though, that's why the Russians went back to diesel in the first place. They are quieter, and I think they may actually be like more powerful, but the only problem is they use the same amount of fuel, like stationary, just when the engine's ticking over, as they do at full throttle. So although let's be fair, they're nothing compared to the utter disaster was the Chieftain's multi-fuel engine. That thing was a piece of shit. Yeah, and like I said, the issue with them was that they used too much fuel. Even stationary, they just burned through fuel like there was no tomorrow. Which is not really a problem until you consider the fact that logistically, you know, in a combat situation, when you're running low on fuel supplies as it is, you don't want to be using the same amount of fuel just from starting your tank as you do it running it at full throttle. It's one of those things that doesn't appear like a huge problem on the surface, but in a combat situation, when you're running low on resources and supplies, it would become a bit of an issue. That's why multi-fuel engines were such a phase at one stage, and then they realised that, you know, like the Chieftain's engine, or it's a, I don't know, I can't comment on the later engines. They might have improved them. I imagine they did, probably because they had to. But the first, you know, models of the Chieftain, the engine that they used was a multi-fuel engine, which, in theory, most modern multi-fuel engines, as far as I'm aware, you can just pour the fuel in and they'll work. So you could run them on diesel, kerosene, petrol, chip fat oil if you really had to. You know, anything you could get your hands on. Whereas the Chieftain's engine actually required to be taken out of the tank, like lifted out of the hull, and then bits and pieces changed and swapped around so that it would run on a specific fuel type. You couldn't just put the fuel into the petrol tank and have it work.
Attention to the designated grid square.
Enemy forces have captured that zone.
Yep, no kills again.
Repairing.
Give the M1 a go after this, Wolfie, if you want.
Attention to the designated grid zone.
Repairing.
But yeah, the Chieftain's engines were so bad that when they were stationed in West Germany, I think they had something like 300 Chieftains stationed in with the British Army of the Rhine in West Germany, and at any given time something like 60 or more % of them were out of action, either being repaired or in depots having their engines fixed. Well, that's the thing, even if a tank is actually really good, poor use of it and poor tactical methods can just sour its reputation horribly.
I agree.
Irreparably in most places.
Attention to the designated grid square.
Yes!
Yep.
Attack the C point! Defend the A point!
It's not a factor when you're not running low on fuel, but it very quickly becomes a factor when you start running low on fuel. It's one of those things. It's one of those things when, you know, like, if you have fuel, it's not an issue. But as soon as you start running low on resources and fuel, that's when it becomes a very, very big issue indeed. And it becomes an issue faster when you use more fuel than is necessary. Right, after this I think we'll have one go with the M1 Abrams and then I'm going to call it a day, I think.
The enemy's getting closer to victory. Roger that! Repairing! Attention to the designated grid square! We've captured most of the strategic zones.
Right, well, Fee, if it's alright with you, I'm just going to crack on and jump into a match quickly. Otherwise we're going to be waiting all day. Right. Take the M1 for a spin. Now with its new battle rating of 10.0. Let's see how this goes. Haven't played the M1 in a bit. Right then, we'll go to the B point. It's funny, you know, when I got this tank I was expecting to be able to just drive around the battlefield YOLO and come out of everything without a scrape, but that's not necessarily the case, as it turns out. Yeah, I haven't got the upgraded fin round yet, so it's kind of a struggle. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, the only problem was, by the time I got my T-64B, I was fighting guys in... What the hell was that? Oh, right then. I was fighting guys in M1 Abrams that already had the upgraded fin round, so they were just going straight through the front of my... Straight through the front of my upper front plate. Morning, Doc. How are we?
The enemy controls most of the strategic zones.
Guess we'll go around then. Ah, good. A little bit late to the party, I'm afraid, pal. Shit. Time to run away. I said I was gonna do my first ever live stream for half an hour, and it's been an hour and a half. So you lucky buggers have got to deal with me for an extra 60 minutes. Where the hell's that KPZ gone? There you are, you little bastard.
The enemy's getting closer to victory.
That was a lucky bounce. Swiggity swiddy, we're coming for that sea-cap booty. It's actually a bit of a shame I'm doing this stream when I am, because if I was doing it later on in the night, I imagine the Scottish Koala may have joined me. Well, I'm not complaining about that shot. Come on, there we go.
Attack the A point.
If you're just going to drive out in front of me like that, be my guest.
It serves him right.
Driver and gunner, bargain. Oh guys, you must be in luck. This is the best game I've ever had in my Abrams, and I'm doing it on a live stream. What do you know about that? Not great, but I'll take it. Dude. This is what happens, you see, when I complain about a tank and then end up doing really well in it. Make myself look like a mug. Shit myself then, I thought I was an enemy tank. Right, replenish our smoke, get another crew member. Then we'll go and see if we can take A. So how long do you guys think it's going to be until we get the M1A1 then? You know, the one with a 120mm. I actually heard, there's another thing I read actually, somebody complaining that the Abrams was underpowered because it has a 105mm gun. The Abrams is not underpowered. I mean, if this match isn't enough evidence of that, then I don't know what is, to be honest. Hello, what have we here? Don't know what it is. This T-64 is going to drive straight in front of it and get in the way. Ah. Faster, faster, faster. Yeah, I'd say 6 months is probably about right. Oh, through the bushes. Yeah, that was disgusting. Ow. Oh, that's not good. Somebody got him. Jesus. That's it. Yeah, that right there is my year's worth of luck used up for one match. Go on, move. Oh no. 7 kills and 1 cap. That's pretty impressive. If we lose this match now, I'm not going to be very impressed, I've got to be honest. 7 kills, Jesus. Yeah, as I was saying, I have heard people complaining that they think the M1 Abrams is underpowered. It's really not.
We no longer have an advantage.
If that doesn't prove it, I don't know what will. It's more than capable of dealing. I mean, that's the stock APF SDS round as well. That's not the upgraded one. And well, that's not strictly true. It doesn't get APF SDS as standard, I don't think, but that's the first upgraded shell, not the best one. So it's only going to get better. Yeah, exactly. This is what I mean. It reloads just as fast, if not faster. It can pen perfectly fine for what it is. Even with some of the, I don't want to say worst, but some of the lesser good, some of the not as good shells as what it gets, you know, fully upgraded. Even those shells are more than capable of doing the job. It's just knowing where to hit. You've got to be kidding. What are the team doing?
We pressure on the enemy. They're winning.
Cannot lose this match now, that would be gutting. Is the DM33 an EPFSDS shell as well then? Like just a better one? For the Leo 2A4.
The enemy forces have captured a zone. Allied forces have captured a zone.
Ah, right, okay. I haven't got the Type 90 yet. That's the last top tier tank I got to get from the last patch. I got the AMX-40, bought and crewed it yesterday. I've only played a handful of matches in it so far. Haven't done too well in any of them either. That thing seems to suffer from the same problem the Leo 2K has. It's too high profile, really. Oh no. Come on, please shoot him down. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I don't want to go out to a bloody aircraft at this stage. That'd just be horrible. Come on. Well, could have been worse.
If we don't do something fast, the enemy will win.
Please tell me that's not another Horton.
We no longer have the advantage. We need artillery support.
Terrible shot. Crap. Well, I think that'll do it. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. I'm sorry, like, if anybody's watching this after the fact, I'm really sorry that I couldn't do it later in the day, but I have other people at home with me, you know, and shit, I have to deal with them, pretty much, so I'm really sorry I couldn't do this later, but this was my first, so if it was a little bit Humpty Bumpty here and there, I apologise for that, but everything's a learning experience and every day's a learning day. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video, I suppose.